Hello, End Time Watchman. The title of this video will be propaganda. Propaganda. Give some definitions of it, how it's being used in the media, the government, and the churches to deceive us and to deceive the masses and numbers of people. It's been used through wars, and it's being used today. Propaganda. Let me give you a private example of propaganda on some of these smart A's, and you feel the other two letters are SS, ES, smart A's that send these stupid comments to you and to me both. You know, I had one sent to me the other night saying, "What's he doing in the garage? Because his wife not take you screaming." Okay. Well, you that sent that comment, you're a propagandist. You put it out there hoping somebody will believe that my wife kicked me out in the garage. You see, number one, she won't kick me nowhere. Number two, she loves me and prays for me, and she's thankful that I voice my opinion, that by God I don't sit down and I don't lay down in none of it, that I stand up to all of it, and that's why she's secure and is secure in her beliefs and knowing that her children, that me and her boy together are going to be took care of. So you are a propagandist, you little punk. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there, just feeling good today and feeling riled up. But in any event, propaganda. Propaganda is dissemination of information aimed at influencing the opinions or behaviors of large numbers of people, as opposed to partially providing information. Propaganda, in its most basic sense, presents information in order to influence the masses. Okay? Okay, now listen. Lordy. Propaganda often presents facts selectively, thus lying by omission, to encourage a particular synthesis, or gives loaded messages in order to produce an emotion rather than a rational response, okay, to the information presented. The desired result is change of the cognitive narrative of the subject and target the audience to further a political agenda. Propaganda is deliberate, systematic attempt to shape perceptions, manipulate cognitions, direct behavior to achieve a response that furthers the desired intent of that propagandist. Okay? Let me stop right there and drive up a stake. Example number one. Terrorist. Terrorist. Everywhere's the terrorist. The boogeyman synthetic terrorist. They created him up, they made him look real, and you still believe he's real. Some of you do. You still believe he's real. Well, sure, there's people all over the world wanting to kill other people, okay? But it's not what brought the towers down. I mean, you can ask an astrophysicist. He'll let you know. Propaganda. Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy. That was propaganda, okay? And this physicist wrote me a wonderful personal message, and, you know, I give credit where credit's due. And let me tell you what this man said. And, of course, I knew they killed Kennedy because of the stroke of the pen. He would have done away with the Federal Reserve, so they popped the cap in him. But having said that, Lee Harvey Oswald didn't do it. The New World Order did it back then. How can I prove that? Okay, the propaganda was this, that Lee Harvey Oswald did it. Masses believed it for years and years and years and years and years. They believed it. That's a prime example of propaganda. They pushed a loaded bunch of crap for truth, and y'all believed it. When I say y'all, I just mean the masses of people. Okay? If Kennedy was shot the way Oswald shot him, according to the mass media, his head would have went forward, not backwards. He had to be shot from in front of him, and he was facing forward. Therefore, when he was shot, his head went back. Law of physics. Example of propaganda, you see. Okay? Example number two. When that devilish New World Order guy said, I gave the order to pull Building 7. That is a demolition term, meaning set off the demolitions, make sure everything's clear, and drop it to the ground. The way it fell was not by the furniture friggin' burn up in it, and it caused the building to go down. Propaganda says that it could have been the furniture fire. Propaganda says everything but the truth is what propaganda is, my friend. Am I making myself clear an example after? And I'll keep using examples. And you'll see, and I hope you'll wake up to this garbage and know the truth, because the Bible says, and I have to go to the Bible, that's just me. You'll know the truth will make you free, you see. Now, let's move on. I may skip over some of these pages and may not. It's just according, because I got to keep watch on this time. Propaganda typically is generally an appeal to the emotion, contrasted to an appeal to your intellectual mind. In other words, the propaganda wants to appeal to your emotions, okay, and not to your intellect. It wants to dumb you down, and in other words, you want to think They want you to think with your emotions and not your mind. You see what I'm saying? Shares techniques with advertising and public relations. Advertising and public relations can be thought of as propaganda. Promotes commercial product or shapes the perception of an organization, person, or brand. All right, let me put this to you real straight. Let me use the drugs, the pharmaceutical, for example. Okay? Bam. This drug will do this for your liver. It'll do that for your heart. Or it'll do this. Or Cialis. 36 hours, 48, whatever the heck it is, to get that moment to get right. Okay? Number one, it's propaganda. I'll tell you why. The reason there's the dysfunction of a certain organ in a man's body is they're the first warning signs of your arteries being clogged and you don't have the right blood flow. That's what erectile dysfunction is stemmed and centered from, but they don't tell you that. You see? They don't tell you to do an oral chelation or chelations treatment to get that mess out of your arteries where your blood can flow right. They don't tell you that. But the propaganda says, take the Viagra, take the Cialis. You see what I'm getting at? They don't tell you the truth. They put a propaganda out there, a propaganda message, to let you know that you can still do this and still do that. But the side effects of that drugs could kill you. Propaganda. Propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. Let's move on. Oh, man. Propaganda was often used, and I'm not leaving out the religious aspect of it neither. On religious issues, particularly during the split between the Roman Catholic and Protestant churches, propaganda has become more common in a political context, in particular refer to certain efforts sponsored by governments, political groups, but also often covert its interest. In early 20th century, propaganda was exemplified in the form of party slogans. Also, in the early 20th century, the term propaganda was also used by the founders of Messianic public relations in the industry to describe their activities. Now, in other words, I'm a liberal, says this person. Okay? Well, look up the true definition of a liberal versus the liberal today. Definition versus propaganda. Okay? Okay? Look up the definition of conservative. Conservative today, okay? I'm conserving something, retaining it, protecting it, holding on to it. I'm not blowing money to hell and high water as a conservative in the office, okay? Propaganda. They say they're conservative, but they're a compassionate conservative. That still don't give you carte blanche, Republican, to spend like there ain't no friggin' tomorrow, like you got a daggum endless checkbook and the bank account don't have a bottom in it. Conservative. Example. Sean Hannity says he's a conservative, okay? I'm just using him for an example. He's as big a propagandist as anybody is. He's just, him and Alan Combs are two peas in a pod. I don't know why on earth they separate them, because by God they were made for each other. But in any event, Sean Hannity says he's conservative, but he backed Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was for abortion. But Sean Hannity backed him, but Sean Hannity is conservative. No, he's not a conservative. He's a damn liar. It's just that simple. It's what he is. He's a propaganda. He is a educated, through the mass media propagandist, just like the rest of them are. They are few and far between. They're like a needle in a haystack to find a person that will bring the news, the truth of the news. Okay? Now, let's move on. Oh, Lord. Propaganda was really a neutral term used to describe dissemination of information in favor of any given cause. During the 20th century, however, the term acquired a thoroughly negative meaning in Western countries, representing the intentional dissemination of false but certainly compelling claims to support, justify political actions and ideologies. False informations used to justify a political ideology. Okay? Don't leave End Time Watchman. I'm already out of time. It's already been 10 minutes. Mercy. This is probably a long one. I'm gonna try to condense it, but y'all bear with me, because I think this needs to get out there. This is one of the greatest warfares that they're going to use against us in these days leading up to martial law is propaganda, is lies that they put out there for truth. Don't be fooled and don't be deceived by it. End Time Watchman, don't touch that dial.